Alright, it's time for a Christmas book tag made by my friend Kayla from Crack Into a Good Book. I'll have her original tag down below, and I'm celebrating by doing my Captain America Christmas sweater. I have many awesome Christmas sweaters, but this is the one I've chosen for this video. And full disclosure, I've not seen most of the movies she has here. So what she did for this tag is took a bunch of her family's favorite Christmas movies, holiday movies, etc., and made prompts for them. So some of them I have seen and do love. Others I didn't know existed. The first one is Elf. What's a book that makes you smile? Well, currently, as of this moment in time, it's Revenant Gun. I'm not very far into it at all. But this is the third book in the Machinery's Empire series, and I've read 3 chapters, and I am smiling so much. It's so funny, it's characters I love. I feel the potential 5-starness of this book, and it makes me so happy. Number 2, The Muppet Christmas Carol. What's one of your favorite adaptations or retellings of a story? This was a hard one because I like a lot of adaptations, but I settled on Arrival, which is the movie adaptation for Ted Chiang's Story of Your Life and Others. If you're new here, I adore his short story work, and I really loved the movie. When I first watched that movie, I was like, this is some of the best sci-fi I've ever seen. And that's still true, and that director is doing Dune, so I have very high expectations and hopes. But this is the story of first encounter with aliens that doesn't go the Independence Day route, and I really like it, and I love that the story has more physics in it, but I think the adaptation was smart in removing that to make it more accessible, and it's still a beautiful story. I don't think it lost its theming, and so that's the one I'm going with. Number 3, The Grinch. Who is one of your favorite book villains? This is hard because I feel like a lot of my favorite stories, they don't necessarily have like a villain so much as an antagonistic force. Like I read a lot of Dying Earth stories, so normally the thing you're up against is just the world ending. But I'm gonna go with Hilo from the Greenbone Saga series. I have a video on that series if you want to figure out if it's for you, but one of the things I like most about that series is that it makes me sympathetic towards people who I really shouldn't be sympathetic towards. Like, at the start of the series, Hilo is the horn of the clan, which means he's in charge of the violence in the street, and he does some things that are objectively bad. That's part of his, like, job. But when you're in his head, it makes sense. Like, I'm still astounded that I can maybe almost like this character. But he is so fascinating, which is why he's the one I chose for The Grinch. Also, I only watched the animated Grinch movie. The Jim Carrey one scares me. That one's super depressing to me. It's like, I get it, consumerism is bad, but like, I just want my 20-minute animated clip, and they made it really scary. Number 4, SpongeBob Christmas Special. What was one of the first books you read in one of your favorite genres? This is for sure one I have not seen because I didn't get to watch Nickelodeon as a kid. Blame my mom, but that means no SpongeBob. But my answer for this is obviously Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. This is the book that got me into high fantasy and adult fantasy. I mean, I was a pretty avid reader before that in the fantasy genre. I'm not going to say it got me into fantasy, but it got me into adult fantasy like so much, and I love it. It's still one of my favorites. It doesn't get a lot of love, and I know that it has its flaws, but it's like, I'm its mom and it's my kid, and I know it's probably average, but like, it's special, and I love it so much. Elantris is the story of this city that used to be glorious, and then one day, just overnight, it went from being this shine beacon of hope and knowledge and success, and it became this dark, creepy city with an undying group of people living within it. And one of our characters becomes one of the people who live in Elantris. One of them used to be married to that person and has to deal with being in a new land with a unavailable husband. And the other character is a priest trying to bring the people around the city of Elantris to his religion, or else they will be destroyed. And it's great, and I love it. I love Elantris so much. I cannot wait to reread it and give it the full gushing review it deserves. Number 5, A Christmas Story. Name a book you love that has won an award. So, I'm a bad Cleveland person. Cleveland is where A Christmas Story was filmed. I'm like pretty sure. We have like the Christmas Story house or something like that. And I don't think I've ever finished watching it. it's really not my thing. Regardless, the answer to this was super easy. It's the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. I love N.K. Jemisin. I have a video where I talk about all of Jemisin's novels in case you want to know where to start, because there is no wrong answer except maybe the short story collection, because although I like the short story collection so far, haven't finished it yet, I don't think it's a good representation of what she does in a long format. I feel like when you write short stories versus long format novels, it's just very different. Like the narrative structure is different, the writing style is different, people get more experimental in their short stories. I'm going on a Jemisin tangent, but I love the Broken Earth trilogy. It is, as of right now, my favorite completed series. It's so innovative, and although yes, maybe a little bit confusing, it's confusing in the way where since I trusted her, she got me there. And I was like, thank you, this was beautiful. I cannot wait to consume this story again and be on this journey again. It was just amazing. It blew my mind away. The next one is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. What's a book you were excited to read that turned out to be a disappointment? I have seen this movie once with some friends. We had the VHS, and this was when you didn't use VHSs. And for me, unfortunately, it's Jade War. Not saying I didn't like it. I'm still thinking about its rating. It's at least a 4, maybe a 5. So like, take this with all the grains of salt. But everyone on the internet, whenever I was talking about Jade City, would be in my comments or just be yelling at me, oh my God, I can't wait for you to get to Jade War. And so it just set my expectations at such a bar that I don't even know how the book could have achieved it. So I was reading it and I was enjoying my time, but I kept expecting the moment where it kicked off into high gear. And it's not a story that kicks off into high gear. It has high gear moments, but that's not what it's meant to be. So I was expecting a different structure than what I got, which is like my bad, because I don't always look at reviews before I read something. Like I knew I was going to read Jade War, but that was a time where the hype got me. The hype got me good, and I'm still excited to read Jade Legacy. I'm still excited to reread this series, but little bit disappointed because the hype got me, which sucks, but I'm sure it won't be the last time. Bad Santa. Name a character who's optimistic or wants to help others. I have never seen this movie, so I don't really get the reference here, but I'm going to put Shill from The Awakened Gods or Biddy from Check Please, either one of those two. Awakened Gods is the novella in the Inheritance trilogy, and Shill is this cute little like child god and like literally is a new god born into the world and is just learning about the world. And it's like, they're so optimistic and try to be so helpful in all the wrong ways. And Biddy is this like hockey player in college who like does not want to be checked at all, and checking is when you like ram someone into the glass panel. It's why people go to hockey games. I kid, I love hockey. There's more than one reason, but Biddy is so cute and makes all his roommates pie and is very supportive and helpful. So either one of those are the ones for this prompt. The Santa Claus. What is something from a book that you wish were real? I do love this movie. This movie is a classic. I rewatched it last year and I think it holds up. Not like the whole trilogy, but like the first movie is really good. And I was thinking about this, and I always have problems answering this question, but I think I'm gonna say this wrong, even though I've read the books for years, but feruchemistry, it's the magic system in Mistborn. It's not the one that Mistborns use, that's allomancy. Feruchemistry is where you have like metal on you, so like this is silver. And silver has a property that you can use when it's like bound to you. I actually don't know what silver does, but like some of them will make you lighter or make you see better or make you less hot or more hot. Like you can store things in these metals and acquire them later. Like there's these, I think they're copper, where you can store memories, so you can like access your memories later. Now the caveat is, in order to see better for a period of time, you have to spend an equal amount of time seeing worse. But hear me out, this is what I want to do with it. So I hate when seasons change. I'm always too cold, I'm always too hot. It's horrible. I can wear one of these and I can store my heat when I'm too hot, and I can take heat when I'm too cold. I know that's like the most adult thing I could do, but listen, I'm always uncomfortable, so this sounds great. The Nightmare Before Christmas. What's a book that's perfect to read in winter? Well, this is everyone's answer. It's Bear and the Nightingale or Spinning Silver. Pick one. They're both like, look at the winter. So much winter. But really, I love both of those. I'm currently rereading Bear and the Nightingale, and it's cold. It is frigid. So either one of those, they're actually both Eastern European. So if you want that setting, they both do that. This is a standalone, so less of a commitment. Bear and the Nightingale is the start of a trilogy, although the first book wraps up nicely. If you read book 2, you need to read book 3. That's kind of the type of trilogy it is, so both of those, wonderful. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. What's one of your favorite creatures from a book? This was hard. And probably because of recency bias, I'm going to go with the servitors from the Machinery's Empire. These are like AI robot things that nobody thinks has any thought or can talk or whatever, and they are so funny. They love watching dramas. They're just really cool, and I find them really awesome. They come in different animal shapes because animals are like a big part of the Machinery's Empire world for symbolism and clans. So you'll just be reading and it's like the servitor in the shape of a snake floating by, and it's just like, that's funny. So I really like those. I think they're really cool. But there's obviously lots of cool creatures. Like I love a creature that was introduced into the Empire of Gold in Dafabad. That was, I don't remember the creature's name, but like, I think the name of the creature was like Mushi or something. I don't know. It was the cutest thing. And obviously I love demons from Stark Materials. Like I want one. Any animal companion, really. So that's my answer. All right, we're now into the bonus questions. What's your favorite Christmas or holiday movie? I do have a soft spot for Love Actually. I know that a lot of the things don't really hold up. It's definitely a time capsule of what we thought was acceptable in the early 2000s. But gosh, if I don't always have feels in the end scenes. Always. Every time. So that's up there. And then, do I have a favorite book to read around Christmas and the holidays? I have a whole video for this, and I mention a lot of my favorite holiday reads, which I've already read some of. So I'll put that in the cards, but I mean, one of them is Bear and the Nightingale. I like to also read the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. I don't know why. Any fantasy romance just feels really nice to just snuggle into a blanket and get immersed into a story. But, you know, I have that video and it has about 9 different options for me, and they go into categories of like family feel-good books, atmospheric books, and like can't put down books. So that's what you'll find in that video. But that is this tag. Thanks, Kayla, for putting all this work into making it. And you are welcome to do this tag if you want, but I know by the time you're seeing this, we are almost at the holidays and I'm pre-filming, so I don't know how many people are going to be like, oh, it's Christmas Eve, let me film that. So I'm not going to tag anyone, but feel free to do so. And in the description, if you just want to leave me an emoji to know that you're here, go ahead, or a smiley face. But otherwise, I hope you have a great holiday season. Like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.